Good morning, everybody. Today we'll speak about the if clauses, how it is and how it is used in language for most of the times. So we normally say if conditional clause because if is a condition. Only when there is a need for something we use if. Otherwise, so only when we have a condition we can do this. So let us see how this happens. So if you look at this previous one here. So normally, if clause have two sentences, one is a conditional and the result. So once you put a condition, you set up a result. That is what we call it as a condition. There are different kinds of conditioning, condition of mind and other things. So normally, when we begin the statement with if, that is a condition. The statement which follows that is a result. That is how it happens. So there's a connection and continuation in both these sentences. If I do this, I get this. If you do this, you get this. That is the way we put up a condition, give and take policies. So if you look at this, these are the two essential parts of the if clause. One, the sentence that we start with if clause is called a conditional statement or a conditional clause. Then we go for the result, which is the main clause. So what starts with if is if clause. What happens as a result or result oriented can be the main clause. Normally, the conditional clause is a complex sentence. It is not a simple sentence. If I, if we, if that. So the grammatical pattern of these sentences are actually very different. It can go like this. For example, the sentence that we have put in the slide is, if it rains, we stay indoors. There are 3 to 4 variations in this, in this conditions. We split it in terms of grammar, we split it in terms of complex of the meaning. So normally it is a grammar we look at it because if you do a certain kind of tenses with the if, then we need to continue with the other aspects also. So that is how it works and that is how it is. So if can we use some other word for if, unless can be used. But normally we don't call this unless statement or unless conditional because normally we don't use unless you are very much clear with unless. Unless can be considered a bit more informal, if is more formal. So where do we use these if clauses? We use these if clauses in terms of business negotiations, formally, business negotiations, project presentation, deals. If plays an important role, and we need to assume if in that form or way. So, so what we can do is we can understand these aspects and continue this in any format. So these helps us in forming these statements, and because of this, we can have a proper arrangement of sentences. So the results can be expressed not only as a reality, the results can be a possibility or hypothetical situations or hypothetical situation. It can go in both the ways. It can actually kind of dance in between. So now we will see the grammatical pattern of the if. So to summarize it in a simple way, if is a conditional clause, and if clause statements have two sentences put together, actually not two complete sentences, they are differentiated by a comma, and then we do this. So this is the way it happened. So let us look into the grammatical forms now. Okay, thank you. So to finish it off, where to start is we need to look at basic sentence format, how the sentences are formed, how it is done. And then we need to look for the types, and then we need to go for the grammatical pattern, and then we need to go for the meaning. It is not a fixed step, but if you want to understand these clauses, the basic thing is we should know the situation of when to use and where to use. Without knowing when and where, there is no point in using these sentences. So when and where is Of course, it is a condition. Once we set up a condition, then we need to see how to reach the results that we are going to propose. So we need to be aware of that. So we have already seen a few aspects. If you want to go back, how it is being done, other types or kinds of it. But that we will see in the next video. But most important thing is we understand why it is used. So it has a conditioning of meaning that we add up of a situation or an event or a promise or a emotion. Of course, everything is a not necessarily it have happened. It have not happened or it is yet to happen. So either it is not be or to be. It may be or can be. It is not to be. Maybe as a promise, yes, but otherwise, no. So we should be aware of this particular aspect of this clause where we deal with these things and go with these. Okay. So let us see the grammatical patterns and how these grammatical patterns affect us. Okay.